Hello, everybody. This is Sheikh Bilal Khan, the Secretary General of Malta Islamic Finance Association. I'm terribly sorry not to be there in person with you all. I hope you have been enjoying Malta, if you are from outside of Malta. Um, the beautiful weather, the country, the people, the culture, and also, most importantly, enjoying and benefiting from the Delta Summit 2019. Once again, the highlight flagship event for the blockchain island Malta. It may well be a small country, a small jurisdiction, but it punches way beyond its weight. And I feel strongly and passionately about the opportunities and the unique value proposition of this small island, which is a EU member and a country which has connectivity with different parts of the world, is a gateway to the Middle East and North Africa, and a strong member of the European Union. I mentioned Malta Islamic Finance Association along with Ruben Buttigieg, who is the president of the organization. I serve as the Secretary General. This is a institution, a body which has been enacted by a statute of parliament, and it is endorsed by the government, especially Honorable Silvio Schembri from the Financial Services and the Digital Solutions Ministry. We have achieved quite a lot in the short period of time since the launch of this body, but I feel the opportunity currently and on the horizon is the combination of Islamic finance and the idea of digital economy. Let's break down digital economy. This covers, you will see in this whole week's meetings and presentations in this event, the full value chain of the digital economy, from cryptocurrency providers and end users and technology providers, from platforms and exchanges to blockchain um, and various other stakeholders in this ecosystem, which we call the digital economy. Now, this clearly puts Malta in a unique position, with various companies being headquartered and transferred to Malta, with the friendly jurisdictional and regulatory environment that we have here, courtesy of the government's support and the regulators' support. But I think Malta can go a step further, because there are other jurisdictions that are looking at creating regulatory frameworks that are looking at housing these entities in Europe, close by, and elsewhere. One thing that nobody has done, and I think will struggle to do, is the combination between Islamic finance and the digital economy, or crypto friendly structures, blockchains, and platforms and exchanges. And really, if you dig deep, you will look at the fact that there are so many commonalities and universal value based principles that the two share. The fact that blockchains and this whole technology doesn't require intermediation, doesn't require certain other externalities. It's the same when it comes to Islamic finance, the idea of sharing and pooling money, products, expertise. Now, Islamic finance, what is this? Because some of you will be really well versed with this idea and the whole conceptual framework and probably the products, but most of you may not be. So let me give you a dummy's guide, if you like, of what this is. It is what it says on the tin. We say this in the UK. That is, the label speaks for itself. Islamic finance is finance, and that is in its widest possible sense and meaning. All forms of investment, trade, financing, funding, whatever way you want to look at it, which is in line, compliant, conforming to the principles of Islamic law. And these principles, just to kind of demystify this and simplify this for those who don't understand, this isn't something which is just the purview of, or the ambit, or falls within the remit of the religion of Islam. The values and the principles underlying the Islamic law or Sharia law are actually universal values, values which are shared and rules which are shared by other major faiths and human beings generally. Whether you're Christian, Catholic, Protestant, whether you're Jewish, a person from other faith or no faith, you will accept that the current problems globally in the financial services industry are very obvious. It's to do with the idea of, first and foremost, money. What is money? Is money what you are seeing, this paper money? Is this money really? Because this is just printed paper. This is paper which has been endorsed by the central bank, endorsed by the treasury of the government. But God forbid, as we've seen in the last financial crisis, some of the European economies went very close to going bust, right? And we had national bankruptcy almost, if it wasn't for bailouts and other issues. Now, if that's the case, and that happens, God forbid, to Malta or another country, then this paper is worth nothing because we don't have this money, today's fiat money, backed by underlying real gold reserve. Banking today is a fractional reserve banking. Only a fraction of the that is in the reserve. So we're talking about money which should be money that's used for medium of exchange and not should not be used for trading as a commodity in itself, because this creates bubbles, it creates artificial inflation and all of those issues. Then we're talking about the idea of borrowing and debt creation and leverage model. If you look at the gearing and the leverage model, you'll find that most institutions and a lot of governments are highly geared and leveraged. The public sector borrowing requirement of a lot of countries, if you share that per capita, then it's going to be a huge problem. Everything is on debt, and debt itself is based on the interest rates. And the interest trap has always been to have lower credit, cheap credit, lower interest rates, and then because of whatever they say the issues are, interest rates go high, you cannot service the debt payments, and this comes back and you lose the entire financing, you lose the assets underlying this. So there's a leverage and a debt problem. That's the second problem that we see, and this is the problem that everybody is seeing around the world with your own eyes. This is not something that Islamic finance or Islamic law is highlighting. Now, what has been the proposed solution so far? It has been that we should find more debt, cheaper debt to pay off expensive debt. Well, you cannot treat cancer with more cancer, and if you do, in some cases it may solve the problem, but in cases like let's say a child which suffers from a cancer and you use radiation to treat cancer and a child's organs are very closely concentrated, you will burn and radiate the rest of the organs. That's why the success rate isn't good. We don't need more debt and more interest payments to solve this. What we need is a solution which is for all. It's not a zero-sum game, but a positive-sum game where everybody wins and not just one. And this is important that we all buy into this thinking and this idea. So Islamic finance and Islamic law talk about more sharing of the risk, not transferring the risk. So the bank shouldn't transfer the risk, or the insurance company shouldn't transfer the risk to the borrower or the policy holder and then sit back and enjoy the security of the asset or the charge over the property and not care about the health of the product or how it performs, the asset. They know they have the security. This is creating issues which will have ripple effects, systemic effects, which will, and we have seen this, economies will suffer. So we are talking about an equity-based solution, a partnership-based solution, where entities, including banks, should buy into and share the risk, should share the downside as much as they want to share the upside. This will make them more responsible. We are getting this word now, responsible financing, sustainability. But you cannot have real responsible financing and sustainability with a debt-based model. And inherently we have this problem globally around the world where equity is disadvantaged and debt financing is given advantage and preferential treatment. And how is that? Well, interest payments are tax deductible. And tax is a big way of looking at this, whereas equity is actually the dividends are taxed. So this naturally gives you a big problem. So we need to deal with that inherently. That's the second issue. And the third issue that Islamic finance or Islamic law look at, that is speculation. The level of speculation and the uncertainties involved. Right? Today people are betting on stock markets. This is what it is. It's not buying shares. They're betting on the commodities market. They're betting and speculating on the forex markets, on countries FTSE going up and down. Some companies and countries suffer, and certain people actually win from that. This is the nature. This is what's happened all over the world. When Greece suffered, certain people benefited from that. When Spain was in trouble, some countries benefited from that. Paulson and Co., the world's biggest hedge fund, and Goldman Sachs, we know it's on record what they did. So this wasn't just about, let's not park it and compartmentalize this into a small issue of subprime mortgage. Yes, it's all about a major macro systemic issue. So speculating and allowing people to speculate is not the solution. Yes, some will win, but everybody else will lose. And we should be looking at a solution which is sustainable. Yes, United Nations SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainability for me at the heart is about collective benefit and collective responsibility and collective accountability. And Islamic finance and Islamic law talk about this. We should, and UK did this by the way, when at the height of the global financial crisis in 2008, Prime Minister Tony Blair was in power. You can go check this even in the newspapers. Short selling was banned for 8 months in the UK. Why? It created Northern Rock, Lloyds Bank, RBS problems. But what happened? The lobby is quite powerful. They brought this back in. This is the huge problem. Speculation, speculative nature, and all of this gambling kind of nature of the financial services. Financial services is become what Lord Adair Turner called, the former chairman of the UK FSA, he called it casino financing. It's no longer real banking and deposit taking solutions for an average man on the street or an average SME or an average institution. This is what it's become. So Islamic finance and Islamic law says this shouldn't happen. Take the word Islamic away. You can use the word ethical here. Call it what you like. You can call it, if you are happy with this, Christian financing. Because the Bible also talks about this. The Torah for the Jewish also talks about this. It is banned. Shakespeare in his poems has mentioned in the Merchants of Venice, he talks about the money changes and what problems they created for society and economy. This isn't something new. Yes, it's been done under the banner of Islamic law and Islamic finance, but this is a universal problem which requires a collective solution. And I feel that blockchains and smart contracts is a method which will allow the flourishing of economies and companies and entities and business and trade with the principles of Islamic finance which go hand in glove together. And I feel whether you're looking at solutions for SMEs, microfinancing, a sole trader, or you're looking at the middle to upper levels, whether it's multilateral and multinational businesses, you're looking at some project financing, infrastructure investment, inward investment into the country. These are solutions we can use today. Financial technology, fintech, digital economy, through this new wave of artificial intelligence, big data, we can combine this and do something together. My personal expertise is both from a legal point of view, as an English common lawyer. So I qualified with a top 5 law firm. I'm a partner of a law firm in the UK, McCarthy Denning. And I'm also, quite blessed and very humbled by the fact that I am also an Islamic lawyer, which is very, very unique in the world. So besides that, I am an advisor, I'm a judge and arbitrator in an international arbitration court, and many other things. And I mentioned at the outset, I'm the Secretary General of the Malta Islamic Finance Association. I am ready, happy, and available to assist all of you and anyone who is interested in either structuring their products, in making sure the legal documentation are done in the right way, to sound out the regulatory frameworks, to make sure everything is tailored in a way which is long-lasting and sustainable for your businesses and your own profitability. Let's not just look at it from a shareholder's perspective and a short-term gain. Let's look at it from a long-term perspective and a stakeholder's point of view. I'm happy to help with any of those solutions and issues. You can contact Ruben Buttigieg, who is more than happy to set up the meetings. We can do telecom based meetings, we can do face to face meetings. I wish you all the best for the remainder of the conference and the event. Good luck with your businesses, your meetings, your networking. Enjoy your time in Malta. All the best. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful conference. Good luck. Take care and bye now.